Well, my teams at the GHA and in my ministry have been liaising with the elderly residential services to see whether it was at all possible. Indeed, after some studying, it became clear that with some internal reorganization, it was possible to transfer some parts of administration. Remember that, of course, now the GHA and the ERS come under one ministry, so we're able to better integrate financial and administrative tasks and so make space available for the true role of the ERS, which is to provide proper 24-hour care for elderly residential services. And we've commissioned GJBS to do the works.
When will these beds be available for use?
Well, the GJBS have given me a time frame. I'm trying to bring them down. They've mentioned to me 4 months. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get them to say to me that it's possible to do in 3 months. But it's important to mention that, of course, this is also part of a global strategy to be able to better use resources within government. And as the Chief Minister mentioned in his New Year message, he has committed the government to ensure that the dementia residential home, which will have 52 beds, will be available and operational this quarter. So we're talking about 52 plus 24 beds. So a high number of beds indeed during the course of 3 to 4 months, which will hopefully mean that finally we move to a position where St. Bernard's Hospital have surgical wards rather than have within it elderly residential care wards.
If anybody has a loved one up there and is listening to or watching this interview and worrying that perhaps the space for their loved one is going to be diminished, is the quality of care going to remain the same?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about a floor that currently has no space for beds, and currently there is no care on that floor. The remaining floor, the existing floors, which provide beds for our elderly citizens, will in no way be impacted. There will be no change and no impact to them at all. So the professional and caring services provided today will obviously continue.
And given that this is within the existing footprint of Mount Alvernia, and considering the pressure that we've seen on hospital beds this winter, could this have happened sooner?
Well, I think that in terms of the capacity for what the hospital does, which is to carry out operations, there have never been a higher number of operations being carried out by St. Bernard's Hospital and such a low level of cancellations due to bed shortages. So I have to say that the work that my predecessor John conducted in respect of the hospital by introducing day surgeries, by making sure that additional services like chemotherapy, dermatology are repatriated to Gibraltar, thereby reducing people attending the UK and indeed Spain, has meant that we are operating at a very good rate in terms of operations. Can we do better? Of course we can, which is why I'm telling you that by having elderly persons transferred to an elderly residential unit like Mount Alvernia, we will be able to dedicate wards and beds exclusively for pre- and post-operation care.